Welcome to this week's Follow Up Friday. I hope you had a fantastic week, shortened week as well with the Bank Holiday Monday, so I hope you were able to make the most of that last weekend. What I wanted to look at today was your motivation. So we'll talk every week about following up, but what is your motivation to following up? So obviously following up is looking to get that sale, and of course that is the most important thing. But for me, the one thing that I'm always looking at is, what is your what? And you might be wondering what I'm meaning by that, but what I'm meaning is the first what is W-H-A-T, and the final what is W-A-T-T. And the final what being, what's your energy, what gives you the drive, what gives you that electricity. So what is your what? So what's that motivation? So if you're doing your follow-ups, why are you doing it? What are you doing in sales? What are you doing? Why do you want it? And for me, it's starting to look at what goals are you setting for yourself. So what are you setting to get to that bigger goal? In sales, a lot of people are incentivized by commission, and that's great, but also it's not just about that. And a lot of the work that I've done in sport has been about what people's motivations are. What are their goals? What are they striving towards, and what are you actually doing it all for? So for some of you, it could be personal goals. It could be doing it for yourself, for your family, for your children. There are reasons that you're out there in sales trying to achieve something, but you've got to be clear on setting those goals. And of course, follow-ups are about goals. They're about creating tasks to get the final thing, which is the sale. But lots of things you've got to be doing in the meantime. And what I wanted to look at today, I wanted to look at, what is your reason for doing what you're doing? What goals are you setting yourself? What goals are you setting yourself in sales? And just what I wanted to touch on really was, if you look at your goal is getting the sale, how do you do that? How do you upskill yourself to be able to do that? How can you actually make yourself a better salesperson? What additional skills can you do? So what I'd really like you to do is probably just do a little assessment on yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And yes, you could use SWOT, in terms of strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, etc. Now, for me though, it's just, looking at your strengths, looking at your weaknesses, what can you make better? Particularly over the last year, we've seen lots of change, and so could you make yourself better on presenting on camera, say, in terms of using Zoom? And Zoom is still here to stay, and more people will say, well, let's have a Zoom meeting instead of travelling miles and miles in a car, and that will happen, and that's still here to stay. So could you do more on that? Could you do more in terms of the way that you do emails? Could you do more on the way that you use your voice in telephone? So there's lots of different things that you should be looking at. But if you're going to be the best salesperson you can, you need to be looking at those marginal gains. And I talk about that a lot in sport, and I talk a lot about it in business. We're never the completed article. So there's different things we should be doing at different times to make things better. So what I want you to do this weekend is just think about, okay, what are some of the things that I could make better? What are some of the things I'm really good at? Could I make those any better as well? And start to see yourself come together as the complete salesperson. And it doesn't matter if sales isn't just your one area of your business. You might be a business owner of which sales is part of it, or you might just be a fully dedicated salesperson. But start to look, set some goals. How can you be better? And I always do a 100-day challenge. So over 100 days, what can you do better in those 100 days? What's going to be your goal for those 100 days? And maybe pick 3 or 4 things that you want to achieve to get better in those 100 days. And it's really key that you can start to look at that, make that difference. So really hope you've enjoyed today. Look forward to you joining me again next week. Have a great weekend, but more importantly, have a great week next week and start on your 100-day challenge.